Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
It was not the best, but it might have been the worst.
Do my feet... I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah.
Record.
Clap, clap.
Yes. Hello.
Hello there.
All right. We are... I didn't shut the door.
Oh, no. There's still time. We can fix this.
That was close. Okay. Jason, we're doing Predator today. Did you watch Predator?
I was pretty sure we were watching To Catch a Predator, so my notes may be a little different than yours.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Okay, cool. So, with Predator, we're doing I think we're just kicking off the series here, is what we decided. We had finally a suggestion of some kind from a listener. I don't want to be so bold as to call them a fan, because they commented on one video, So I don't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah, he might not even like us. He's just like, I hope these losers do Predator. Predator
Specifically.
2. Yeah. Well, we gotta work our way up.
We gotta work our way up.
Deserves it.
I have to. I'm like OCD, like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I gotta do it in order. So here we are, Predator. Now, technically, I mean, if we're getting real cunty about it,
And I love being cunty.
yes, as do I. It's kind of like what this show's founded on.
Yeah. I believe the first working title for this podcast was Content Crisis.
Yeah, it was. We just figured, wouldn't be great, to pull people in.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We could technically start with Prey,
Yeah.
right? But we're not going to do that.
No.
So here we are, Predator. To start, do you have any bad summaries for this movie? I have I think 3 of them. So if you don't, I have enough for the both of us.
Yeah. No. The only one I was thinking of on my drive over here was local mud wrestling tournament goes wrong.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. Like I said, I got 3. I said, man cuts himself shaving. Later, his head explodes. Friend who rolls around in the mud survives. Soldier's girlfriend has big pussy. Talks about it a lot.
Oh, man.
And story about soldiers that work out in the jungle.
We've all been there.
So, and then I was saying to you before this that if I don't own the DVD, it's kind of hard for me to do like the deep dive stuff because I don't have the special features handy and such. So, I just kind of in that case go with the IMDb facts that I may or may not believe.
100% law. We checked.
What I meant to look this up earlier. I just it kind of slipped my mind after I was done scrolling IMDb.
Sure.
But like, what are the qualifications for a statement to get on IMDb? Is it like Wikipedia that just anyone can go in and type something in? Do we have any idea?
I don't, but I can tell you for the next movie that we do, I'm going to make an account and see what I can get away with.
Okay.
And we'll see if it gets brought up on the next one we do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, quite honestly. Okay. So this segment is cool stuff, and I put in the subject line also not really, because again, just like a couple things I picked out of picked out of the IMDb trivia section.
If we're being more accurate, it's kind of neat section.
This might interest you.
It might.
But probably not. The Predator allegedly only has 8 minutes of screen time. That I believe.
I believe that.
Don't see the Predator a lot. You see the silhouette. But, yeah.
Yeah. Godzilla, it's the same kind of thing. The whole movie's about him.
I know.
We see him for like 5 minutes. It's fine.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Quite
Well,
honestly.
at least in this one, the lack of screen time creates the suspense, and it's kind of the whole point. But
Yeah. Like, if you had no idea what the cover of this movie looked like, you'd have no idea what you were waiting for.
yeah,
You'd just be like, oh, this is just like a story.
hunting war zone kind of
about
thing.
About some soldiers. Like, what's going on here, right? So anyway, just thought of something. Last time you, like, flipped that around.
Oh.
I don't know if you want. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying you.
I can fix it in post.
Yeah, just blur it. Yeah, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Seems like like a lot of effort.
I mean, I'm gonna be a pretty static object here. I mean,
oh, you just
that'll
go
be
blur.
fine. I mean, you have to think
as a whole.
Well, yeah, just blur the whole thing. This will be
Just
a really
like only
interesting
your
video to
face.
watch.
Only your faces.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, you gotta think the angles, like folding and shit. It'd be fine.
Okay, cool. I was just checking.
No,
I don't
good
want you
call
to get
out, 'cause
too
I-
far away.
I
Because like
completely
last time,
forgot.
before we started, you just like flipped it around.
Some days I'm smarter than others.
Anyway, apparently, Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to be Predator, or the guy in the suit rather, but according to the website, he didn't like the idea of like never being seen on screen other than just in the Predator costume. And I think that, and it was also mentioned that he was, let go for the role because he was only 5'9".
Yeah, he's a
So
baby
it
child.
Sounds like there's like a mixture of those two things on why he's not quite in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's not that interesting. IMDb effect. Also MythBusters disproved the mud covering up infrared. It
Big
does it
letdown.
it does it like briefly, and then eventually the
You
mud
heat the
warms
mud up. Yeah. Go figure.
Doesn't take a genius. The more interesting part of this, I think, is the dude with the pussy jokes, Hawkins, actor named Shane Black. I think he's the most interesting part of it. He's a screenwriter. Number one, apparently those were his pussy jokes, so congratulations to him.
10 out of 10 delivery every time.
He wrote Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon came out the same year as Predator. And guess who also produced both of those movies? Joel Silver. And Shane Black was also working on the script for The Last Boy Scout at the time. Joel Silver also produced that. Joel Silver also produced all the Lethal Weapon movies. And Shane Black at least had a part in writing the story, like not the screenplay, but the story for Lethal Weapon 2. So, and then Predator 2, I don't know how involved he was in that, but we know Joel Silver was very involved in Lethal Weapon, and that is why, to me, Predator 2 just looks like Lethal Weapon, like alternate universe.
It's 100% alternate universe.
But yeah, so anyway. So, just thought that was all kind of funny.
Yeah.
That he wrote all that. So...
And I gotta say, going back at least to the fun fact with like Jean-Claude Van Damme being our Predator, I was kind of following up on some of that stuff too, and his would have been a little bit more of like a ninja agile Predator rather than our little bit of a big ass brute Predator, which definitely I think would have told like it would have had a much different tone throughout it. If we just basically had like this little chibi ninja that was just cutting everybody up rather than like this. The Predator.
Right.
The Predator is like a unit. He would have been like the...
Yeah. Well, then that kind of changes it moving forward, I suppose, right? Because then the Predator is not the same size, right? I mean, like the story moving forward. Like, if you want to keep any continuity.
You got to keep a 5 foot... Well, I mean, I guess, alien species, they can be whatever shape and size they want. But yeah, if most of them are like under 6 foot, then it'd be kind of weird if... Predator 2, you got this jacked 8'13" dude,
right?
Just cruising around, but
yeah, the first one was just like the runt of the litter.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's not a bad way to do it. Be like, and they thought he was strong. He was the bitch.
Yeah. So, all right. So then we just have thoughts on the movie. Now, I've been talking for a while, so you got a couple.
Yeah, no. So I kind of, organized my notes and a little bit of like the live reaction as it goes through the story there. As just a head note to all of this, really love the early Alien and Predator movies. Very soft spot in my heart for them, so very excited to be going through these. So just going through this, just my absolute excitement to be able to watch this again because it had been a hot minute. But even just like opening up, we have our kind of our ragtag group of guys coming in. You get Dylan and everything walking up. They do the "you son of a bitch," grab the hand and do like the big heavy ass flexing. Arnold Schwarzenegger arm is roughly the size of my entire body.
Just that, like, what's so funny to me is that, like, zoom in on, like, it's just like, hey, these guys are fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Like, just like how they're like, Dylan, and they slap hands, and then it's just like zoom in, boom.
Yeah.
Muscle arms. It's like, okay.
But I mean, there's a reason. It's because it's impactful, it's effective, and that's why we used it as a meme format. 25 years later or whatever. So
This is true.
it works. But yeah, no, just some incredibly jacked and iconic men in this movie, which is just fantastic. But I also do really love like the team trope of the everybody with a different story on the team, just trying to accomplish a mission. It didn't really matter who any of them were. But it's like one of the rare movies where everyone had like a pretty distinct personality, and you got a little bit of a backstory on them. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like they open up with that pretty well, with kind of individualizing all the characters rather than it just being Arnold Schwarzenegger and the bros.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny how we opened with the just the spaceship, and then like we're showing.
Yeah.
How this thing got there. It's like, I think we could have just gathered it's some kind of alien.
Nope. It's just
it's a predator.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Different movie. Okay. They're gonna get mad about that.
It's Alien to Earth. How's
You're gonna
that?
see the portal open up right here,
Yeah.
and be like, we like to be called predators.
Yeah, my bad. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. Yeah, and then with that opening thing, opening sequence is a lot of testosterone. And the fact that Carl
best.
Weathers was so jacked
Yeah.
at one point. Like, I don't think of him as the dude from Predator or, Apollo Creed and Rocky. Like, that's just not the first thing that come to my mind. That's not the first things I watched
Sure.
with him in it. Like, the first thing I ever saw him in was Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
So I always think of Chubbs, and then when he's in Arrested Development.
Yeah. We'll see. To explain why he was so buff is he really got the whole wooden arm. It's just sculpted that way.
Yeah. And then, the other arm's got to match that one. So
Yeah.
you stop working out with that arm. Yeah, I mean.
We've all been there.
Right. Yeah, anyway. What do you got next?
My next thing is when we're going into a little bit of like the mission deployment. Dude's talking, or we're in the helicopter and they're kind of flying in, and that's when we're kind of doing our pan around our characters again, and dude's putting his dip in and talking shit about everybody not taking some and how it'll make you a sexual tyrannosaurus.
Goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus.
There's a handful of quotes that I wrote down for this because they're just so damn good. And yeah, just him being like, I'll make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. I was like, that's all I want to be in life.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I thought, yeah, just that kind of coming in was cool.
I liked that we just got like, I said, what an icebreaker with Pussy Joke Guy. And that's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's kind of the way, that's exactly how you meet him.
Yeah.
It's just he starts going, I'd like a little pussy.
Me too.
Me too.
Mine's as big as a house.
And then it just bombs. And he's like, because she'd like a little one because hers is as big as a house. And he just picks up the newspaper.
Yeah. I love that though, just because that's so realistic to the guy who just like doesn't really cut it with the gang, and he's like, I'm trying, man, but I got nothing.
Yeah.
They just don't land.
That was the best I had.
Yeah.
I liked that Mac was just like shaving all movie.
Yeah.
And it starts in the helicopter.
Yeah. I'd like to think of it like, again, kind of reading through notes there, like maybe it's just like his nervous tick or something, whenever he's stressed or anxious or whatever, that's what he's doing. Because, yeah, he's doing it throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And it is usually like either proceeding right before or right after, kind of like one of the bigger events. So
Yeah.
might fall in line. A little bit of OCD, a little bit of anxiety.
I mean, I guess if you're sweaty enough, I mean, your skin's always ready for it, right? But, anyway.
Yep.
My next is when they're fighting the little village there. You got anything before that?
I think just when they found like the dude who was skinned alive.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot that was even like in this first one there. So I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh my god, that's fucking brutal that we have just a dude hanging there skinned alive. But it was really good practical effects for the time. This was like 87 or something. So it just looked good. Looked good for the time.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. I wouldn't say there was a lot that was off.
Yeah.
Visually looking at this movie.
And granted, it's probably a little bit easier to hide it in that kind of environment of, maybe some cheaper stuff or whatever. But I thought literally everything that was on screen looked pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, because with a lot of these 80s movies, I mean, there's some shit that's bad.
Yeah. Even with budget, it's just looks like dog shit.
I mean, in Die Hard 3, recently I was watching that, and it was like, there's an explosion when they jump off this boat, and it just looked terrible. And Die Hard 3's like 90, I don't remember what year, but it was in the 90s, which is after this.
Yeah.
Obviously, So I just thought that was interesting to me that they did this one so much better. And like even the big explosion in the end, like it wasn't like top of the line, here, but like it still
looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, you weren't like that. He's not there.
It didn't look out of place by any
right,
means. It did seem like it fit everything else. So
yeah. Yeah, my next note is just commenting on subtitles because I love when I see in a movie like speaks Spanish, which to me you could just like put the English subtitle up. That would make more sense. Which then always reminds me of in Shawshank Redemption, if you watch with subtitles on, it's like when the big fat dude like gets the shit beat out of him, and then like all they had for a name for him was fat ass, and so then I'm pretty sure the subtitles like fat ass whines or fat ass whimpers or something,
right?
After he's been beaten up and he's sitting there.
Yeah, and stuff like that stresses me out. I worry about what my subtitles are gonna say.
Right.
Like bitch ass whines. It's like, man,
damn it,
not again.
Yeah, what's mine? Yeah, that's funny. You should put a couple on there. Bitch ass mutters, fat ass carries on. Anyway. Yeah, and then I had some Dutchisms.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, I guess it's that flips either way. We always do Bondisms for the James Bond movies, so check out the Bond stuff if you're interested. But I just thought it was funny that we had Dutchisms, like just two of them, two little puns he made real quick. He throws a machete at a dude and he's stuck to the wall and he's like, stick around.
Yeah.
And then he kicks down a door and he's like, knock, knock.
And it's all within, kind of that same scene and everything there. But it's effective. You got your action hero, you give him a couple good quips, and somehow it's just iconic.
I just, like, the way they did it, I definitely thought we were going to have Dutchisms, like,
throughout the entire
movie.
thing, yeah. And I feel like it might have cheapened it, if they did. So, like, it was, I think just because it was such a chaotic thing, it kind of helped have some dialogue in there to break things up. Yeah. Even if it was just...
Because it was a long scene there, like, from when they start...
Yeah,
taking people out, and then he throws the truck down the hill.
Badass.
Because just Arnold's just jacked, and so they're like, all right, Arnold is really strong, and we need to just show people that.
Yeah, because we didn't get that from the beginning scene where he just the giant bicep. He's
hey guys, really flex right here. Like,
I have two bowling balls in my t-shirt right now.
Yeah. I just. My other comment was just, I love when a movie has an entire plot other than the one that is literally the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, we just have this whole other plot of like military politics and like, you know, this crew not wanting to, they're not, as Dutch says, they're not assassins.
We're a rescue
team,
yeah.
you know. And it's just very funny to me.
Yeah.
How the first, 45 minutes of this movie just has nothing to do with this predator other than we see the results of the first people that were
Yeah.
affected by
No,
the
it's-
predator, killed by the predator.
This was 100% like a action hero movie, just like a war movie kind of thing, up until the predator decided to start taking our guys out.
Right.
So yeah, it is kind of neat when it's like as far as our main characters that we're following, they don't know what movie they're in.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the novelty of that.
Yeah, I like it. And then my next thing's not till my next thing basically is just they fuck around in the jungle for a while and then Pussy Joke Guy gets killed. So whatever you got, you know, leading up to that.
I'd just kind of highlighting on the like that kind of battle scene at the enemy camp is that they do a pretty good job of showcasing each character and them all being badass.
Yeah.
It was very just like straight up action hero shit. You got all your quick cuts, your explosions. Everybody's just the hardest motherfucker. Enemies have no spatial awareness, and obviously, no one can shoot the good guys.
No.
As
never.
is tradition.
As is tradition.
Yeah. But you know what? That's how we know they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a storytelling thing as much as it is plot armor.
That's right.
So it's
They
good.
put that plot vest on, one arm at a time, just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Shortly just after that scene, though, there's like a bird's nest. There's a dude that's like held up there, and shit, I'm blanking. The sexual Tyrannosaurus guy.
Yeah, Blaine, I believe.
Okay, yeah, Blaine. He's sitting there, and he'd got like shot in the arm earlier, and he's like, "Hey, you're bleeding." He's like, "I ain't got time to bleed." I'm just like, what a fucking G.
Yeah. And then he what is that, like a grenade launcher or something?
Yeah.
Like, you got time to duck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer one-liners like that. I'm glad that it wasn't just like Arnold Schwarzenegger that got to say some cool shit. But yeah, Blaine had some good lines throughout most of this too, which was fun. And then I've made note like several times throughout this about how Arnold is the most jacked man I've ever seen in my life. Just couldn't get over it. One thing, just because shortly after this is when we get to see a little bit more of like the Predator and his like semi showing up. Mm-hmm. He's mostly
Invisible silhouette.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you still kind of see that silhouette. One of the things I was reading up on was kind of like how they shot those scenes, and it was like either like two different lenses or two different cameras pointed at something, and then they
Yeah,
did
it's like two shots, I think
Yeah.
they were saying, right? With like a wider lens on another.
and
And it was actually like the dudes were like wearing like a red suit.
yeah.
Which,
So then it would
you
be
know,
super
same
high
concept as the
contrast
green.
against like the the forest and everything.
Yeah.
And then they just superimpose them over top of each other, and that's what gives like the rough edge of a thing. And that's like just to me the big brainest shit out of you know, the technology you have available at the time. I love stuff like that so much.
Yeah, and I think some of that silhouette stuff I read, like some of that is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like,
Yeah.
from what he started shooting.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how much IMDb I believe,
Yeah.
but you know.
But so Kevin Hall is the guy who played
Right.
Predator in this one, and 7'2".
Yeah.
That man was massive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
You go listen, if you're 7 feet and you don't play basketball, go to Hollywood. Someone will employ you for
Someone will
something.
put you in a monster suit, and you will get a paycheck.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Just start walking around movie studios in LA. Somebody will pull you in.
Hey, you need a tall guy. I'm a tall guy.
Tall guy out here. Tall guy is willing to wear monster suits.
He's just like live recording studios. You know, he's just busting in. Hey, you guys need a tall guy? You need a tall guy?
Tall guy.
Are you filming?
You filming right
Do you
now?
need me? Do you need me?
Look how tall I am. This is stupid.
Just ruining hundreds of $1,000s of takes.
Yeah.
That's the dream, really. It's what we all aspire to be.
Yeah.
My next thing is a little bit later on, after Blaine was killed, and they spend roughly like 3 actual minutes of just shooting at the forest.
Yes. Yes, they absolutely do.
And
I did my thing on Blaine is just the MTV plug. He's walking around in that MTV shirt.
yeah,
And they I felt like it was like specifically maybe MTV threw a little money in there. I don't know, but it was definitely. And then the MTV logo, like in true like MTV imagery kind of fashion of the commercials in those days. You know, dude just gets like blown up from behind, and I don't know. It looked really cool, the imagery of it.
yeah.
So I said R.I.P. Blaine, but then you're saying after Blaine dies, and they shoot for 3 minutes. Yeah, That was a lot.
It's a lot. It almost just kind of, if just thinking from like them being like professionals' perspective, it's like they're really kind of breaking down already if they have no idea where the enemy is.
Yeah.
And like that's a lot of ammunition to be spending at no idea like what you're pointed at even.
Yeah.
So I thought that was.
Well, I guess if you think their logic, right? They're like, all right, this thing, skinned 3 dudes in a tree.
Mm-hmm. But they're not even
got 2 of our guys already.
100% confident that it's a thing.
Well, someone or something is around, right? And so then, the logic of it just, like destroyed Pussy Guy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we can call him Hawkins, but Pussy Guy's funnier.
Pussy Guy. And our token hot girl's just like, the forest took him.
Which, if you saw that happen in front of you, what are you
that
going to
might
say?
as well have been what happened.
Yeah.
I respect that, but...
and then, Blaine gets just a hole shot through him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, whoa.
I ain't never seen a forest do that before, personally.
Never.
I usually avoid the forests.
Yeah. It just completely.
Sounds unpleasant.
Yeah. That was one other thing I was reading is that apparently this was like just like a legit jungle, so just snakes and the bugs
Leeches
and the
and
leeches
shit,
in the water. Yeah. And Arnold did a good bit of swimming.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he had been freezing his ass off.
It did say he was freezing his ass off.
Was that the quote unquote?
Because they still he's getting covered in that mud.
Yeah.
And the mud's not helping. And he said then he would try to drink, try to warm him up. And then he was like, "Well, that didn't work. I just got drunk."
Yeah,
because he's still covered in mud out in the cold.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Anyway,
actors are professionals.
Yeah. That was going somewhere. Where were we exactly?
So we just kind of touched in the general area of Blaine getting killed
shooting,
and shit, and everything exploding.
Because the only reason that if that was a normal person.
Yeah.
They shred that person.
Yeah.
With the minigun. The only reason the thing got away is because Mac hits him, when he's chasing him before he gets the minigun out.
Yeah.
That's how he got him in the leg. But then you think Predator just goes up into the trees.
Yeah.
Whereas any normal man, they're all just shooting, just fucking just spraying into the forest.
Yeah.
If there was dude running away is getting hit, dying. Yeah, like it would have worked had it been people.
Yeah.
So I don't think the logic's too bad there.
Yeah.
Me personally, but
maybe I'm just thinking. Just the sheer duration, because they were there for a hot minute, just sprayed and praying. But just the it wasn't like get a formation, get a perimeter going or whatever.
Right.
Like no one was branching out or really trying to get an understanding of what was going on. We were just shooting bullets.
It was rather unofficial for the military, I suppose. Yeah.
I expected more out of you.
Dutch.
Yeah.
You were running this fucking unit into the ground.
Yeah. And then I did want to say just kind of once we exited that scene, having like Mac and Blaine just be like kind of friends and bros throughout this, and having Mac being like a little shaken up and stressing out over Blaine's death. Was a very unnecessary but like good touch to have in this. It's a lot of like it didn't have to matter one bit, but I appreciate the small stuff like that.
Yeah,
because in your action hero movies, pretty much everyone but your main action hero is disposable, and this made them feel like they mattered a little bit.
Yeah,
and you know what? It makes me think maybe I matter.
Anyway, yeah, no, I agree. Because that's the whole thing Dylan's saying is guys are expendable assets, and he goes, my men aren't expendable assets, and then it turns out they're pretty expendable assets as this movie goes on. Everybody gets shot to shit.
Tradition.
But yeah, why does a movie like this stand the test of time? Because you have the human element to it.
Yeah.
And Dutch really didn't have any attachment to like really anybody else. Like there was no character he's like very close with. He just kind of battles his predator in the end. So yeah, the human touch had to be somewhere, and I suppose the point is that he's kind of avenging his guys, fighting the Predator in the end, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of his connection. He's got the connection to all of them, though not one specifically.
Yeah. He cared about his team.
He cared about his team and the lady. He told her to get to the chopper, which is the most quotable Arnold thing. Arnold's got like, you think about that, that's kind of funny. Arnold's got I'll Be Back from Terminator. All right, and then he's got Get to the Chopper. I don't think he's got anything else, but that's
the
pretty
two big
damn
ones,
good.
yeah.
Just 2 action movie franchises, and you got 2 of the most quotable lines ever.
Pretty damn good.
And he was a governor of California.
Yeah. What have you done today?
What have you done this lifetime?
I gotta say though, Homegirl was hot. I didn't really pay much attention to it up until like we got into probably about like halfway through or whatever after Blaine had died. But she was doing something. I was just like, Jesus Christ, lady is hot. Where's she been this whole movie? But yeah, I was just too busy hyping over Predator for a while, and then I remembered that she was hot. It was nice.
Yeah. I did think like 2 things. Is Matt killed a pig, nice, which I think was more like a hog considering where they were.
Yeah.
Which is just funny
that
that dude just kills a hog on his own.
Yeah. He's pissed.
And then definitely one disappointing part of this to me was just the glowing blood on her pants never comes up. You know, like she wipes the blood on her pants after she touches the leaf, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be significant. And then she's sitting there later, and it's glowing.
Mm-hmm. And we're just not addressing it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, none of the guys see it. And then it just stops glowing. And then the glowing blood's never a part of this, like at all. I don't know. I just thought, like, his blood glows. Like,
yeah.
I thought maybe that would, do something to counteract his camouflage.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well,
and I expected it to come up. That's all.
I think we did see it when the Predator was coming out of his camouflage and he was starting to do like the repair on himself. I think we did see that the blood was contrasting against him.
Yeah.
While the camouflage was still active. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like we still saw it when the camouflage was active that it had the blood.
I just thought it'd be like a big plot point.
Yeah.
Was all. Like, oh, that's how they beat him. Oh, he's follow the shiny green stuff.
Sure.
And shoot the shiny green stuff. I don't know.
But so what comes out of this though? So like they because I think Anna was the girl who she's the only girl.
The only one, yeah.
She she's the one who kind of saw like the blood was on the leaf.
Yes.
And all that, and then she's trying to talk to the guys about it. It's where we get another killer one-liner from Dutch. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yes.
Another one that I love quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was just kind of funny that like all our trained soldiers who are like supposed to be able to keep an eye out for like tracks and signs of people. Yeah, they missed all these very, very obvious signs.
Like she's touching the leaf with the blood on it.
Yeah.
And then Dylan's like, "Hey, vamonos." Like, but you don't see the shiny shit on the leaf?
It's right there. Go get the plot.
Yeah, that was bizarre to me. It's like, aren't you? But then you figure he's CIA. CIA got you pushing too many pencils, Dylan. So, there's that whole bit. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, as we're kind of reaching this stage and going a little bit further, just Mac's mental state gradually kind of declining. He's a lot more stressed out. He's got an increasing number of sweat beads on his head that he's trying to shave off. I'm glad that we got to kind of see him devolve into a wreck as this movie went on. It's a good time.
Yeah, they all kind of did.
Yeah.
Arnold really is even a wreck at one point. The only guy that didn't go out a wreck would have been Billy, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy still kind of went a little crazy there. Whereas, like, Billy's last stand there, like, he's got the fucking knife, he just, like, cuts his chest, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What are you going to do,
he's whenever the Native American kind of thing, he was having his honor battle or something. That's what it seemed like it was supposed to be, It was like a, I'll fight you as a kind of thing, I'm here. Yeah. But I wonder if they had a scene really planned for the two of them, because, he does that, he cuts himself.
Yeah.
And then we just pan back to the rest of the group and hear
him scream.
Hear the scream, which was kind of a letdown. I feel like in even the was it 2016 or 2018 Predator movie where everyone gets like dropped in on the island, or on the world, I guess.
Gotta be honest, I didn't watch it, so I'm just following
Fair.
you here.
But it's one where like all the different like soldiers and that one guy, Tobey Maguire, who's the killer.
Tobey Maguire's in it.
I think so.
Oh, I'm definitely not watching it. You can't sell me Tobey Maguire as a soldier. He
wasn't a soldier. He was a doctor.
Okay, that you can sell me on.
Shit, where am I going with this? But no, there's one of the guys there who was like some like Chinese or Japanese dude, and he got to pull out his sword and have like a one-on-one battle with one of the predators. But it was the approach. He knew that he was gonna die, but he stayed behind, let the rest of the team go. But he got the honor battle of getting to fight the predator.
Sure.
Which is kind of what the predator does with Arnold a little bit later on here. But I thought, we could have used that on Billy, and it would have been a cool scene. But this movie was like 2 hours long. So.
Cut it for time.
Yeah. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah. And if I can just be a cunt for a second, they go to all the trouble, set the trap, and then they all just look at the trap as it goes up. And I feel like you just immediately start spraying that.
So
trap
anyways, I
before it
started
gets out.
blasting.
Right, yeah. This is what the line should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and they all just kind of watch, and then it comes out, and then the log hits fucking, what was his name? The other skinny dude. I can't remember his name right this moment, but yeah, he got fucking blasted with that log.
Yeah.
I don't know what they thought they were doing, like wrapping his torso. Like if he's got broken ribs and you're like throwing a wrap around him, like what are you, a doctor? I don't know.
I don't know.
Are you just gonna compress the ribs at that point?
Maybe keeps them from moving around, puncturing anything else. Maybe I don't know.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Never had all my ribs broken before.
Doesn't matter. He died in a couple minutes anyway. So.
That's fine.
Spoilers. Yeah, my only note here, Mac tried. He spies the predator. Dylan has a change of heart, and then Billy's last stand. And then I said if the secret to not being attacked is no weapons, then everyone should just put their fucking weapons down, yeah?
Yep,
and
pretty
just
much.
run out of the forest. Jungle, whatever.
Yeah. So kind of running into that. So when Dutch had his gun and it was like kind of blown up in his hands, and then he's fucking hoofing it. He goes like sliding down this hill into like the water and stuff. But like I rewound it because like just the framing of it seemed kind of weird. So like he's falling down like this hill, and then there's like a very obvious cliff. But like we see enough of the falling off of the cliff that there's like definitely like a beach straight under him. That like he would have just fallen straight on that beach and died. Like there's no water directly under him. It's like another 45 feet that way. Yeah. So being a little cunty on that, but I rewound because I was like, wait a minute, is that just straight up beach down there?
Yeah.
And yeah,
it is.
Yeah. And in an alternate cut, this is where the movie ended.
Yeah. It's like actually this movie needs to be an hour and a half. Okay. Dutch dies on the beach. The predator lives.
Just teabags him on the beach and calls it a day. Why not?
You don't want to see predator balls. You've seen the predator. That's what its face looks like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
yeah.
So yeah, after falling into the water and stuff, that's when he's coming up, gasping a little bit. He's accidentally covered in the mud at this point.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was
seems a little convenient.
Yeah, mad convenient.
He put his plot vest on this morning.
But a very good way to explain, kind of the accident of understanding how the vision works of it there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty good setup. But also the Predator's a fucking idiot to solely rely on just the heat detection for them.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like with that level of advanced technology, they'd have like something else. Like he can hear things.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It just seems like the senses were very, plot relevant. Where I can't see him because he's got the mud on, and I guess I just can't hear him breathing hard as shit. I mean, I think he was holding his breath as he was kind of making the approach, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it is interesting to think about, right? Because, I mean, it's no like. I guess that's why Superman kind of sucks. It's like Superman, he's faster than a speeding bullet, leap tall buildings in a single bound, right? And then he's like, oh, but if you put this rock near him, he'll get sweaty.
Yeah.
And
it's the sweat rock.
because if you make, otherwise Superman's boring.
Yeah.
Right? Like
if he can just beat everybody,
because he can't.
What's the point?
Unless you have kryptonite.
Yeah.
He will just beat the shit out of you straight up. So that's why, like, Batman makes sense. Because he encounters an actual supervillain. And the supervillain have some sort of weakness, and he figures that out.
Yeah.
And that's why it's entertaining at all. There can be people stronger than Batman. There could be people stronger than Spider-Man. No one can be stronger than Superman unless you get a rock.
Yeah.
And, so I think that's kind of the Predator's kryptonite, is even when he takes the mask off, he still only sees an infrared.
Yeah.
So... And as we said, Mythbusters disproved the infrared. And my cunty note was mud is infrared proof. So. Anyhow, do you have any... my next note is Arnold is Tarzan. So if you have anything before that.
Roughly right around that time. So just as he's doing a little bit of the prep work, like once he's like identified that like the mud is, kind of hiding him, he then proceeds to build a really big fire and sit next to it and cover himself in mud. And it's like, yes, let's trade one heat signature for another while we do our prep work, while you have the most limited vision you've had all day on your surroundings.
Yeah.
Thought that was a little bit of a big dumb.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about when he's yelling and...
Yeah, he gets done setting all his traps, then he lights his torch, and then he just screams into the forest.
Yeah. Just the manliest fucking thing ever. It's like, I only wish that I could, like, just be built into such an entity that, like, that's something I could do and people would be like, oh, God.
That came from within.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so then what I said, so they have their final confrontation, right? And I said, so is that same concept of sport on why the Predator doesn't just kill? You mentioned that, how in the end... they have kind of their honor battle, right? Yeah. Arnold's got no legit weapons. Just like bows and arrows and homemade bows and arrows and shit.
Which, if we can talk about that for a second, like, I feel like that alone would have taken him, like, the whole day. You know what I mean? Like, these, like, they looked good. Like, he got some, like, high-quality bows and arrows and, like, the spears and shit, not to mention setting up the traps and everything.
Yeah.
Like, man, quick hands.
Yeah. I mean, when your hands are that strong, though.
I guess, but you'd think they'd be less dexterous because they're just full of muscle.
I mean, you just got to bend that stick, man.
That's the thing. He didn't. He just grabbed a straight log and curved it a bit and called it a day. Or like just judo chopped a tree.
Judo chop.
Yeah, and then just one shot carved it into the bow. Yeah. You know
biggie.
what? That makes more sense. That seems in character.
Big deal,
Yeah,
Jason.
You're right. I'm overthinking it. That's on me.
So anyway, I was just saying, like, I guess that's the concept of why Arnold doesn't just get taken out immediately, because they have their little honor battle. But it does seem like the Predator may just kill him. And then I said, speaking of just kill him, come on, Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, when you got the rock, the explosion doesn't have to happen.
Do it now.
Kill me. I'm right here. Kill me.
Yeah. It was so good.
He should have just killed Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, you had the rock. Or Arnold should have killed the Predator after the thing falls on him,
Yeah.
You got the rock. Just do it, man.
Throughout the whole fight, there's definitely, like, kind of the questionable stuff there. Because, like, Predator, obviously, like, he should have annihilated Arnold just immediately and then 14 times after that.
Yeah.
Just logically. But, like, I'm trying to forget, like, which order the scene happened in. But it was in one of the scenes where I think when the helmet was damaged. And he like couldn't see through the helmet or something. His shoulder cannon was just like firing randomly. I was like, this is very not Predator-like.
Yeah.
It's like he's supposed to, the Predator's supposed to be the cool, calm, collected hunter, like in control of the situation for sport. And then the like panicked firing seemed like a really kind of odd thing. Yeah. But I also like to think that maybe the Predator was tired as shit. So, like, he, too, is
frazzled,
also mentally wearing down just as much as these guys.
Yeah.
Which, again, if that's the case, that adds just a fun little layer, too. Mm-hmm. A hunter and its prey. And they're both just desperate for the end.
Yeah. Which, speaking of the end, that's kind of the end, unless you have anything else. I have exhausted my notes.
Yeah.
Much like... the Predator and the prey were exhausted.
Yeah. I just want to say just the both like the, physical display and impact of the Predator just like disarming himself to just square up with Arnold was probably one of the hardest things that came out of 1987.
Yeah, that face looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it was funny watching it. I almost thought, which I think it would have been cooler. So sorry, now I'm just sound like a dick. But so you know how these two teeth, like up here, like, you know, they
The
go
mandibles.
up like this, right? Yeah. So I thought that when the thing hit him, because like from a certain angle when you're looking at the predator laying there, I could have sworn those teeth got like jammed up into his face. You know, I thought that's what that was, but then, you know, closer examination, no, he's fine. That would have been a cool look, you know, because I mean, think about that. You get punched in the face wrong with that face.
Yeah.
It's
irreparable damage.
You are hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
I gotta
I
think
think that
if
would've
you
been cool
hit
to
him with
see.
the right uppercut, his his teeth are just gonna puncture his eyes.
Exactly.
It's really a fatal evolutionary flaw.
And that's why he wears the mask.
Yeah.
You know, so then he takes the mask off to be a fair fight. You know, good on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that face looks amazing though. Like the practical effects of that is incredible. And like, you know, reading a little bit about that in the IMDb facts that I don't believe. Them talking about how those mandibles are like controlled by servo drive and shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's just really cool. Like one of the coolest things that I've seen is like in the Fifth Element, having the DVD so I could look at the special features and like how they controlled all those alien faces and, you know, how they did all that shit. Just one of the cooler things I've watched, and it would have been cool to have had the Predator DVD to maybe see them go into detail about some of that shit. But even just reading that little bit, I'm like, oh, heard those kind of things before with the Fifth Element aliens. So anyway.
Yeah.
Do we have final thoughts?
Final thoughts on it? I love this movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's a damn good movie. It's one I
Holds up.
Yeah, absolutely holds up. This is one I would definitely get back into my like regular watching rotation because it's just fun. It's got the action. It's got the quips. It's got excellent cast. Practical effects are great.
Yes.
It's 2 hours long. I don't even give a shit.
Yeah. And 2 hours, I mean, when you're thinking about it nowadays. 2 hours is pretty goddamn manageable anymore.
Yeah, movies are so long nowadays. You know, back in my day,
Back in my day.
it was, you know, James Bond, and they were 2 hours, so it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, as you know, I hate rating these things because I feel that there's just too many to rate, and so I'm just gonna kind of say that this is over. If you want to rate, feel free, but I don't think.
My rating is that this is a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's worth it. It's on HBO Max and probably other places. Go watch it right now. I mean, shit, if you got this far, you've probably already seen it, but
yes, I hope so.
If you happen to have made it this far and you haven't seen it, I want you to
kudos.
I want you to email me directly and tell me what exact problems you have, and we can work through it together.
You can do that at consequenceshotline@yahoo.com. And Twitter us at the consequences1, and you can obviously follow our YouTube channel if you're listening, or if you're watching and you'd like to hear us yap on about nonsense. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, the Spotify, the Apple. If we're not somewhere, let us know. We'd love to be there. And yeah, we'll be back with Predator 2 eventually. I don't know what's coming up next. I can't see the future. But thanks for watching or listening, and goodbye.